Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you. My name is Eva Marie Everson. I am the director of Florida Christian Writers Conference, which is coming up in October. We'll talk more about that later. Sitting next to me, like on my screen anyway, is the girl with all the hair. Her name is?
Hi, I'm Taryn Souders, and I am the co-director of the Florida Christian Writers Conference. And sitting actually next to me is not you, Eva.
Oh,
I'm sorry. It is Susan Sloan. And Susan, we understand, well, first of all, you attended the Florida Christian Writers Conference last year. And we understand it was a wonderful experience and that you got some really good news out of that. And what we would love to hear is, tell us about your experience and tell us what happened.
Okay. Well, it was a great conference, as it always is. And I was trying to get as much information as I could. I had one book already finished and another one halfway finished. So I was trying to talk to some agents who might be able to help me steer me in the right direction. And wouldn't you know it, it was the last day of the conference. We were getting ready to leave. My friend Terry Miller, who accompanied me, was waiting for me to have my very last session with an agent. So she was sitting out in the hall waiting for me while I went to talk to the agent. I guess I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. So I had been working on my proposal for months and months and months and wanted to get everything just right. And this particular person told me I needed to get an endorsement from an expert that was related to my field or somebody famous. I didn't know anybody famous. So I thought, okay, I'll try. But I walked out into the hall and Terry had happened to sit down next to Erin Taylor Young, who was there to represent Misty Beller with Wild Heart Books. While they were sitting there, somehow they got to talking about my piece, which I had won first place in the contest this year. And for whatever reason, Terry had a copy of it. I don't know how she had a copy of it, but she pulled it out and shared it with Erin. And Erin said, she really ought to contact Misty Beller at Wild Heart Books. So when I walked out, they told me, and she gave me her card. I took it home with all my other cards, of course. But I was focused on trying to find this famous person. Yeah. Or some expert. And I did get an expert to help me, but somewhere along the way that kind of fell through. So I spent a couple of months trying to do that. And one day I pulled out those business cards and I thought, maybe I ought to try to contact this person. And so I did. And it was just amazing the way things worked out, because I sent her my proposal. And in my proposal, I had not only the first book that was completed, but mentioned the second one, which I was working on, and the third one, which I had in the back of my brain to work on.
And this is fiction, right, Susan?
Yeah, this is historical romance.
Yeah.
Which is what I came to find out, which is all that Wild Heart Books does.
That's it. That's what they do.
Who knew? I didn't even know they existed.
Yeah.
So
right, they are a great publishing house. We love with them.
I'm sure I've read several of their books, but it didn't occur to me. So I sent the proposal off, and Misty replied pretty quickly and said, "This sounds interesting. Send me your manuscript." So I sent her my manuscript and cautioned myself to wait. It's probably going to be weeks or months, I think
say no.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think it was less than 2 weeks, and she got back and she said, "I want to send you a contract for 3 books, for all 3 books." So wow, yay.
Yeah. This is one of the things we talk about often Now, for those of you who don't know, Word Weavers International, which I'm the president of, Taryn's the vice president of, Word Weavers International owns Florida Christian Writers Conference. And a lot of people don't, we talk about this in Word Weavers, that's where I was going, but a lot of people don't realize that at writers conferences, yes, we have those 15-minute appointments that you set up. Once you get there, you sign up for these appointments. You can meet with editors, you can meet with agents, you can meet with freelancers, people who have been around the block enough times to know what they're talking about. But it's often those, I call them God incidences,
Yes,
meetings that you never planned, or somebody is talking to somebody else, like in your situation. But yeah, I mean, the thing is it was right in your wheelhouse, Wild Heart Books, exactly in your wheelhouse. And yet somehow you had missed it. But what I love about God is that God didn't miss it. And he knew this was perfect for you. So, we often say to people, yeah, you make those 15-minute appointments, but sometimes it's the meetings at dinner, that you're just sitting next to the right person, or you're walking to your room and the right person walks up and says, how's the conference going? And you just start talking. You just don't ever know, how those meetings are going to turn out. I can look back in my career and say that the preponderance of relationships that I have in this industry that are very significant are the people who I met, not because I went after meeting them, but because I was just in the right place at the right time. So I love this story. Now, your first book has come out. Is that correct?
No, it's coming out in January.
In January. Okay.
Yeah, I'm finding out that the editing and the publishing process is very long.
Yes, it is. Both Taryn and I can affirm that.
Yeah,
you are correct. Yes.
I think I also ought to mention too, because sometimes it gets so discouraging. And at one point I had written to you, Eva Marie, and said, I just don't know what I'm going to do. What do I need to do? And because of your advice, that's why I went ahead and submitted to Wild Heart Books.
Yeah.
When my book comes out, I will be 72 years old. So
wow,
I just say
Susan.
that to say it's never too late. Just keep on going.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
God has in his timing.
On that note, when did you become serious about writing? Because I know, speaking of Word Weavers, Susan is one of our mentors, and the president. She was at one time the president of the Columbus, Georgia chapter. But at what age did you get serious about writing?
Serious. I don't know. I've started writing in high school, had some things published actually at that age. And then along the way, from time to time, I think what I decided was when I retired from the corporate world, okay, it's time to really buckle down. Even though I had some accomplishments along the way, I wanted to be what I called an accomplished writer. I just want to have something to show.
Yeah.
So I actually did spin my wheels for a little while. Then I heard about the conference, the North Georgia conference. And that was the one that really got me started. Went there twice, and then to the Florida conference twice. And it's just been wonderful. And I keep thinking, why didn't I find this 20 years ago?
Right. Yeah. Well, because the timing just wasn't right. And we say, well, yeah, I can see why. But yes, again, I mean, congratulations. Misty Beller is, someone I just highly respect in the industry. Wild Heart Books, they do beautiful work. Have you seen the cover yet for your book?
Oh, yes. We've seen the covers for the first two.
Oh, good. So, are you pleased?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I'm putting them all over social media.
Yeah, that's like the second most fun part, I think, in a writer's career is, the first one is when they get that contract offer. And the second one is when they get their cover design. I look forward to that email whenever you're like, okay, this is what your cover looks like. And,
it's kind of, it's so rarely, I think, what we picture it's going to be, because we kind of have this idea in our head. but then it comes in and these are the professionals. This is what they know how to do.
Mhm.
And they follow the trends and things like that. So, then it comes in and I don't think I've ever been disappointed in a cover. I've always been thrilled with my covers. So
I was only disappointed once, but luckily the publisher decided it was a pretty bad cover too.
yeah.
So they redid it, which was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Well, they were really nice. They asked me what kind of ideas I had for the way the people looked and what I'd like to see on the cover. And so I was very, very pleased.
Yes.
That is fantastic because author, depending on who you go with, you don't always get that freedom to offer an opinion. So that's fantastic.
And a lot of times it's Wild Heart books, because they are so specific. They are this historical romance genre, so they're going to be a smaller house and say one of the big five, as we call them. They are more open to author input and things like that, where the bigger houses are not always. Not that they're never, but they're not always, especially with a new author. And I think that's one of the reasons. Well, I know that's one of the reasons why at Florida Christian Writers Conference we like to bring in a variety of houses. Not just the big houses, but also the smaller houses, because really that's where the opportunity is. And it's really, they're so author friendly, and it's about, it's about relationship. And so that is one of the reasons why we love bringing in people like Misty or Aaron, who is representing Misty. And I think, Erin's going to be back this year.
I was going to say, we're bringing her back this year.
We're bringing her back this year. And I think
she's the nicest person in the world. Anyone watching this, if you haven't talked to her, even if you don't write historical romance, you need to talk to her. She's just the nicest person in the world.
Yeah, she is. She's so cool. And I think Deb came because Misty was expecting her 150th child or something. She's gonna turn around, Misty's having another baby. So she's like, yeah, I'm doing it again. But we are so excited to have her back. We're so excited for your story, Susan, and we thank you for sharing it with us and with our viewers. And we'll see what this year brings.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've already got new ideas going, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Excellent. Well, listen, you guys, we're going to end the interview here. Thank you so much for joining us. And remember that a success story like Susan's can also be yours. If you're interested in coming to the Florida Christian Writers Conference, it begins, is it October 18th? I think October 18th is a fiction intensive.
I'm looking for my calendar. I should know.
Yeah, get your calendar. Because we were booking for next year, and there's always that confusion on
date. It's the 19th.
It is the 19th, the fiction.
Yes. Wednesday is the 19th.
Okay. So for those of you who are interested, last year we did this with children's book writing. This year we're doing it with fiction writing. Next year we'll do it with nonfiction. We have a whole day of intensive workshops just for fiction writers this year. For those of you who are flying in, you'll want to come in on Tuesday, so you can jump right in on Wednesday. For those of you who are driving in, you may be able to come in just on Wednesday morning, and that's fine. But go to word-weavers.com/Florida events for more information. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for joining us.